Hey guys, I am back with a Christmas card video after Christmas. It took me a little longer to get my last couple of batches of Christmas cards finished, and then I have time to film because, you know, the whole holiday thing. I do apologize if the lighting looks weird. I'm trying a different lighting setup. From what I can see in frame, it looks better than it has been previously, but it could be worse. I won't know until I try to edit it, so I apologize if the lighting is awful. I wanted to show you the cards that I made with the Pebbles Holly Jolly collection. I got it at Scrapfest 2 years ago. It came with 6 12x12 pieces of paper. I think it was a kit that the store itself had made up. There were 2 sheets of each design and they were double-sided, but then it had also come with a pack of tags and a pack of ephemera. And I think I gave some of it away in swaps and stuff last year, but not too much of it. So I was able to use up the rest of the ephemera and the tags, as well as all 6 pieces of paper. So yeah, I thought I would show you what I made. So this first batch of cards I made with the December 2019 Sheetload of Cards sketch from Call Me Crafty Owl. The sketch itself actually involves a tag shape, and since I had some tags that were standard tag shape, and they were around the same size as what was described in the sketch, I thought that would be an easy way to use those up. So I had 2 of each tag, so I was able to make 2 of each card design. Now the rest of these tags didn't have sentiments on them, so I had to just stick my own sentiment on them. And in the sketch, it actually has like this bigger fishtail banner in the background and then a smaller one on top, and that's what you put a sentiment on. But I really hate cutting fishtail banners, so I already kind of knew I'd rather put stickers down, and I just happened to go to Dollar Tree and find these sentiment stickers, which worked out pretty great for these. So that's what I did for the next 4 cards, these 2 and the next 2. Oh, and I forgot to mention, for quite a few of these fishtails, I used this paper. It's not part of the collection. This was paper that I got in the December 2019 SCT sampler kit. There were a couple of 6x6 sheets that I think were by Bella Boulevard, and they just had this like scribbly line design on one side and dots on the other, and they happened to coordinate pretty good with this paper, so I was able to make some fishtails with those. Then when I ran out of the proper tag shapes, there were some other tags, but they were not the standard tag shape that we all know. I started using some of the ephemera that was around the same size and kind of worked on the same level. This tree was the same tree that was on those tags earlier, and I just put a fishtail that I made with a scrap from this collection and a Dollar Tree sticker. This one, again, the fishtail, I believe this is the back of this one, or it's the back of the other green and white paper, you'll see shortly, but it's the back of one of these sheets. And then I just thought this looked a little bit empty, so I just threw a Dollar Tree candy cane sticker on the corner to give it something a little more. And I had 2 little elves that worked quite well, so I just gave them the same sentiment, but they worked better with different paper. These 2 cards, I just layered up some of the ephemera. I originally just had the 4 U's on there, and it was kind of boring, and then I realized that these skates pretty much look like a bouquet that you would give someone, so thought it would go well with that, and I think it worked out pretty good. These 2, I just used the glove ephemera that there was in the pack, but it wasn't really Christmassy, so I decided to combine some of the Dollar Tree stickers to just make more of a winter greeting rather than a Christmas greeting. And then these 2, I just used the poinsettia / random Christmas flower ephemera, and I made the fishtails out of some of the glitter paper from Dollarama, and then just used some of the Dollar Tree stickers to make a sentiment up top. Then I went back to using standard 4x5¼ card bases. It wasn't that I didn't like the sketch that I used. I quite liked it, but like I said, I hate cutting fishtails. But I did like the theme of like a stripe of paper underneath the ephemera. So again, these are 2 more pieces of ephemera from the collection, and I just used some Dollar Tree snowflake stickers to add a little bit of sparkle to them. I actually really like how this one turned out. I wasn't sure I was going to like it, but once I glued it all down and embellished it a little bit, I actually think it's really cute. I had these 3 gingerbread pieces that were from the collection, but they were kind of small, and you'll see later, there's a large piece of ephemera that was a gingerbread house, but you couldn't really get any of the little gingerbread people or the tree on a card with that house without it being really crowded, and I think they're a different shade of brown, so it didn't quite work. So then I had this paper and this ephemera paired together, the Happy Holidays ephemera, but I couldn't figure out what else to do with it. So then I just tried sliding the gingerbreads in between, and it worked really well. And then once I put the flat back pearls on it, it ended up looking adorable. So I'm really, really proud of this one. Then I ran into a problem where I really loved this turquoise snow paper, but I didn't really have any embellishments on hand that I didn't have to go digging for that really matched with it. So I realized I had pulled out this Cosmo Cricut sticker book that I have. I had pulled it out specifically to use some of it, and thankfully there were some bits and pieces that had some darker turquoise on it. So what I ended up doing was I just backed them on white cardstock, because I kind of felt like, especially with one like this, where the edges of the sticker are the darker teal, it would blend in a bit too much with the paper. So I just backed up on white cardstock and then put this red and white dots are actually from the border strips on the 12x12 Pebbles paper. It was one of those papers, you know, usually the border strip is like the reverse of the paper. Evidently that's not what Pebbles does. They just put a totally different design on the border strip. So I ended up trimming some of that off and used them to do the same sort of stripe across the middle, and then the stickers on cardstock, and then I embellished with some Dollar Tree stickers as well. This one I was struggling with what to do. I didn't have too many turquoisey bluish stickers left that would work as a sentiment anyways on a card. And this particular Cosmo Cricut sticker book was like alphabet themed. You know, I had like A is for this, B is for this, and there's a bunch of random letters by themselves. So I wasn't sure what to do, and then I figured, okay, I'll just grab these 4 bluish turquoisey stickers and just put a border strip down the middle and sort of just layer it like this. Again, the stickers with the sentiments are all on white cardstock, so they pop out a bit more. And then I just embellished with some gems to fill up some space, and it actually didn't turn out too bad. Now, there was a lot more red, green, and white paper in this collection, or at least in the papers that I had from this collection, so I was able to make various ephemera and stuff stretch a lot longer with the green paper. So this is just back to using items from the collection. I just layered some ephemera from the collection on top of some paper and then embellished with some gems. Again, we've got the stripe across the middle with sentiments in the middle and then a little bit of embellishing. I'm actually really regretting only buying 1 pack of these Hollyberry stickers from the Dollar Tree because I used up all but 2 of them. So I didn't think I'd use that many, but they worked really well with this collection. Now, this ephemera was a little harder to use. These 2 like cut logs, I guess, with sentiments on them. I imagine they probably went with other paper in the collection that I didn't have, so it was a little bit odd to sort of figure out what to do with it. I mean, obviously the squirrels with the candy canes matched with them, but I wasn't sure what else to do. I don't know if putting the ephemera off center worked as well as I wanted it to, but I was just trying to do something a little different with them. They turned out okay, I guess. Like I said, used a lot of these. And pro tip, if you buy these holly stickers, there's only one little tiny piece of foam tape in the corner there, so then these are just loose. So when I used them, I just took some foam dots and stuck them behind the leaves, because otherwise they'd just be hanging and they'd snag really easy on stuff. So just, if you have these and you haven't used them yet, you might want to think about doing that. Then these cards used some more of the tags that were in the collection. They're just like tags that say Merry Christmas, and they're big fishtails, and then I just layered them on top of some of the ephemera and embellished them with some gems. And then these 3 had the ephemera that I struggled the most to use. These deer are just so cute. I didn't want to use them. I love these deer and jammies. They're so cute. And then actually these presents were not from this collection. They were ephemera that I randomly had. I do not know what collection it is from. It's like a random ephemera pack I bought at Scrapfest, and I guess didn't buy anything else from that collection. And I looked online, couldn't find anything that looked like this ephemera. But it worked out pretty well. It matched pretty well as far as the colors and the tone and whatnot. And then these candy canes are from the Pebbles collection as well. And then this was the last Merry Christmas tag, so I just used it as sort of like a place to hang stockings, and that's how I did that one. And then I was down to larger scraps, so I tried to just sort of layer them up with some cut-aparts from my stash. I used some of these in the Echo Park cards that I made last video, and I think some of them turned out pretty good. Some of these cut-aparts really did go well with the scraps that I had. And then we got down to the problem child of my crafting life, which is the weirdly shaped and sized scraps. One of my goals for 2020 is to figure out ways to either work more productively and quickly with scraps, or just give up on them and toss them out. Like, I don't like wasting pieces of paper like this one that's this big, but I do struggle with what to do with them sometimes. And I'm already a slow crafter, and I feel like messing around with scraps and trying to, you know, get every little piece of scrap used up is one of the things that slows me down the most. It's definitely what slowed me down with these cards. So I gotta figure out something better to do with them, because I usually don't love the result. But like these two, I'm not really thrilled with either of these. These are just, you know, strips put together with a cut apart on top. And then this one's a bit of a mess. It didn't come out quite the way I had hoped. This probably actually would have served a cut apart better than what I ended up doing. Again, these are scraps. These are border strips that are stuck in the back here. And then these two stockings are actually pieces of a piece of paper that I used up in my next video. I made a handful of cards with just random pieces that I had left over that weren't from any particular collection that I had anything else of that I'd already started using, so I used those up. I had a couple of little scraps of this paper, and they were all just squares with stockings on them, so I just cut out the few full stockings that were left, and I put them on here as embellishments, but it didn't quite work. And then I had this leftover stamped out piece with some cardstock backing from the cards I made with the Echo Park collection, so I stuck it on there as a sentiment, and I think it's a little bit too busy, a little bit too much of a mess, but I tried. This one, on the other hand, turned out a lot better than I had anticipated. I just used, again, the border strips, just put them on top of each other, and then just put a cut apart in the middle, and it actually worked out really well. Then I tried some more minimalist cards than is normally my style, with just some Aldi sized scraps and some cut aparts. And finally, there were these two. I was down to some random scraps, and I experimented. And actually, this one turned out better than anticipated. When it was just the two punch outs of the scrap paper and the cut apart, I didn't like it, but once I added the gems, I think it turned out pretty cute for, again, a card that's not really my style. I'm not really that minimalist, but I think that one turned out cute. This one's like an abomination. I don't know what this is. And that's it for this project share. I managed to get a total of 48 cards from this Pebbles Holly Jolly collection, or the pieces of the collection that I had. Pretty proud of how these turned out. It's a really cute collection. I wish I'd had more paper to go with the ephemera, but I was able to make what I had work, so that was great. I have one more Christmas card video coming up. It'll be short. It's only a handful. There's not too much to go through there. I'll get that up shortly. And yes, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Please give it a share. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and click the little bell in the corner to be notified when I next upload a video. You can check out the Facebook group and my Instagram. They will be linked below, and I will see you guys in the next one.